Hello, welcome back. This is Grillenheimer. Um, yes, this is normally where I do a lot of my videos now. Well, let's just not lean on the table, shall we? Um, I'm an avid old Ghostbusters fan, big time. I like in raccoons. I've had a fixation on raccoons since I had about a hand puppet when I was about 6, 7 years old, or no, maybe around 8 because I was in the hospital. But anyway, this is about Ghostbusters. Why am I mentioning raccoons? Well, I liked Ghostbusters so much. In '84, I was a preteen, somewhere between 10 and 12. I wasn't quite 13. So I had to be taken to the movie theaters each time. Back then, movies were like $1.75 to see, maybe two and a quarter. Uh, I got to see the original Ghostbusters 5 times, if not six, when they reshowed it again about, what was it, 8 years ago or so, when they showed the original again. And I took my daughter, and she just was on her Game Boy the whole time. But so I've seen the original movie at least 6 times in the theater. Just enjoy the movie. Just probably my favorite movie of all time, other than Transformers the movie from 1986. But Ghostbusters is pretty much my number one. And when it comes to the franchise, Ghostbusters 2 was okay. I grew to like it more throughout the years. I think it came out in '89. I liked it even more after the terrible one that came out in 2016. And I tried to enjoy it for what it was. I still watched it, despite all the terrible comments on it. And I'm like, well, it's still Ghostbusters. The original people kind of show up. I'm gonna still, and and we even checked it out of out of the library, because you can check movies out of the library for free. So we didn't pay a dime, no, but nothing to Redbox or streaming services or anything, but from the library. So if you don't want to pay money to see it, the one from 2016, the library is the best way to go, or just bypass it altogether. If I ever talk about that movie, I'll have some separate video for that, because I do have a couple of reviews on this channel. It's not many, but okay. I liked Ghostbusters so much, I learned to freehand the symbol after first drawing it. I made like a little poster for myself, and I drew and drew for all my friends back in like junior high school or whenever it was. Yes, junior high school. We don't have those anymore. Uh, and then with my little raccoon characters, I completely did a whole comic strip of the movie with the raccoon characters. For every character, every character was a raccoon. I think maybe I made Walter Peck a dog. I can't remember, because a dog hating raccoons. So there was that, and it was so sketchy. I may have thrown it out. I don't. That was like 1984, 85. I probably don't have any more, but I do remember taking the time to sketch out a Ghostbuster comic with raccoons. Am I going to do that and redo it again? No. But it was fun. It was just everything verbatim from the movie. We had the VHS tape, watched it to death. Just really enjoy the movie and enjoy the comedic timing, the atmosphere. It had some elements of fear and comedy. It was just everything. It was just everything. I forced my grandfather to take me to it, to the theater one summer when it initially came out, and he hated it. He didn't like the cursing and blah 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 and spiritual, and he goes, I don't believe in this stuff. Well, he's passed away now, but the point is I forced my grandfather, who didn't want to see it at all, to take me to go see the movie, and he did. But so when I heard about Afterlife, I was pleasantly surprised and and cautiously anticipating it because of the how Hollywood is nowadays and how everything is kind of woke. And you know, in the PC of the 90s is the woke of today, and it's just gotten worse. You can't click on something on Netflix without seeing something you don't want to hear about. You can't click on Disney Plus without hearing or seeing something you don't want to hear about. Or even just regular TV, or even now commercials for, I don't know, Twix and Reese Cups and whatever. Well, Reese Cup commercials are still pretty about the Reese Cups. But we're just in a world or an era where identity politics is just everywhere and it's being rammed down our throats. And so I'm really hoping that none of that is in Afterlife, but I could be wrong. But all the reviews so far, I have not seen the movie, have been pretty good. Now, there was one review where one guy mentioned how everything kind of did get wrapped up in the last 10 minutes of the movie, but he didn't like how they wrapped it up. And he was in the minority. I've seen another guy review that was just getting everything wrong. He said Slimer was in it, and he was showing the new ghost that is not Slimer. I forgot his name. Who eats everything metal and he spits it out into like bullets, from what I understand. And I've seen all the trailers. And one of the first things I noticed in the very first trailer, Shandor Mines. So yes, something is happening here in this little town in the middle of nowhere. We're not in downtown New York anymore, which was just made the first one just so iconic. It couldn't have been any better than it already had been. So I'm glad they didn't go in a space shuttle looking for deep pulsars and deep, intergalactic pulsars in deep space or whatever. But we might see some of that in Afterlife. They're not going into space, but that wasn't my point. But we're going to get a little more background, despite how much, it's a 30-year difference from 84. I really think they're going to go into the depth and the history and the mythology of why the first movie even happened. I doubt I'm wrong about this. Concerning we have the terror dogs. Dude, they're called terror dogs. From the first movie are coming back. You just see the head of Gozer crawling out of the hole. We get to see a statue of one of the terror dogs, like a guardian, which could be inside that well. That the kids are sort of hanging out. I think it's just a hangout spot. And they ride their bikes up there, up on the hill. And I really think Walmart is going to be the center of it all, because that's where a lot of activity we're seeing in the trailer so far. I could be wrong on this. Between the little mini Stay Puffs coming to life off the bags and in the bags, and then the terror dog showing up at Walmart and chasing Paul Rudd out the front door, which is very reminiscent of Rick Moranis and running out the hallway, and the terror dog busting through his apartment door. I think we're in for a ride. It may be a very predictable ride, because we have so many Ghostbuster movies previous to this. We have a lot of Ghostbuster material from the cartoon. How much of the cartoon they were going to really pull? Probably not. Of course, Ray Stantz's Occult Bookstore is an element from Ghostbusters 2. And we do get to hear his voice at the end of one of the trailers. If not was it the first or second trailer? I can't remember which. But I think everybody, the whole cast, McKenna Grace, Wolfhard, Coons, Paul Rudd, I'm really looking forward to seeing Ernie Hudson and all the other guys back. The very last trailer just was released, I think, yesterday or today. You hear Bill Murray saying something about "Did you miss us?" or something like that. we don't see their faces. We just sort of see them in their outfits, but like it's panning up and their heads get cut off. Not literally. We just don't see their heads in the scene for the trailer. So there's that. But at first I was cautiously concerned about Afterlife, but I think there's a reason why it's named Afterlife, because this movie is going to be more about Egon than we think, more about Ivo Shandor than we think. And yeah, we may end up learning more about what happened to Egon. Of course, his character has had to pass away because the actor passed away, Harold Ramis, unfortunately. So it's going to be interesting how they get that into the story. And we know the connection already. We already know McKenna Grace and Wolfhard are the grandkids of Egon. And just seeing Annie Potts coming back as Janine. It's Janine, dude. I think he called her Jamie or something strange. Anyway, it's so exciting because we've seen her a little bit in Young Sheldon, and every time I see her in Young Sheldon or anything that she's been in since Ghostbusters, all I can think of is her being Janine from the original Ghostbusters, being the secretary that is probably getting paid kind of well, but really getting tired of her job and answering the phones all the time, from phones the phone not ringing to the phone not stopping ringing, by the end of the movie. And I hear there's 2 different end credit scenes, one mid, one at the very end. You need to wait for them both. Again, I have not seen the movie. I'm excited. I'm really excited. I hate it got pushed back to the end of October to November 19th. It's neat seeing in the trailer, McKenna Grace is sort of flipped out, and in the Ecto 1, as the door comes out, and she's kind of riding strapped in and trying to zap the floating apparition. Slimers. He is a Slimer, but he's not Slimer. Okay. Floating I forgot what he called him in the first movie, and a real nasty one too. So it's going to be real exciting to see, and I just had to do a video on this, which is kind of silly, I know, but I'm just excited, and that's all I've been doing for the past week and a half or so, is hearing reviews of people that have seen the movie that are not spoiling it, which is good and an unusual thing, but a good thing. So I hope we're all pleasantly surprised, because it really sounds like they're really keeping it in continuity. They're really going to keep it where we get to actually see what happens to Egon, his family, where all the other Ghostbusters, what have maybe happened to them. Since Dana Barrett's character is coming back, did she and Bill Murray's character, Pete Venkman, did they actually end up getting married? They may have gotten married which will connect it more to Ghostbusters 2. I don't know. People that have already seen it know. Maybe this happened or not happened, but it almost seems like that's very possible. They could be married. When McKenna Grace makes that call and is talking with Ray Stanson at his occult bookshop, that he gets all the guys together and it's like, guys, we got an issue here. Egon's family, I just got off the phone with Egon's grandkids. We got a situation here. And getting everybody back together. And Dana's like, well, I can just see Sigourney Weaver already saying, well, if you're going, you're going to take me with you, kind of, because she was very headstrong, very strong female character in the original Ghostbusters. She was the strong female, and Janine was sort of the weaker female character of the movie. But if you remember the cartoon, Janine had an episode, a very cool episode, where she had to take a proton pack herself because the guys were so busy busting ghosts. She had to bust her own ghosts in her own apartment. Very good episode. I hate they took the real Ghostbusters cartoon off Netflix. I'm not sure where you can see it now unless you just have to go out and buy the DVDs, and I don't have them myself. But there might be something out, a streaming service where you can see it, maybe for free, or buy it. I'm not sure which. But if you missed out on the real Ghostbuster cartoon, it's really good. For at least the first 2 seasons of it were just really good. Chock full of stories, lots of really good villains. I'm bumping my table. And a lot of neat things that come into play, and how by about the 5th or 3rd episode, not the first one, it should have been the first one, but it wasn't. Unless they had them out of order on Netflix when I was watching them on Netflix initially. They connect the movie to the cartoon and make it like the cartoon is reality. Now, they made a movie of us, of our coming to be, which was interesting. If you haven't seen the cartoon, watch the cartoon. But that's what I was getting to, is with McKenna Grace in that sidecar of Ecto-1 going down the street is very reminiscent of the toy, especially the recreation of the toy when the real Ghostbusters cartoon was very big on TV on Saturday morning. So that was really neat to see. Since it's so far into the future, with Egon's passing, so to speak, and yet we've seen Ecto with some of these adjustments done to the car that we never saw in the original first two movies. Are they also connecting it to the cartoon that way? I don't know. Probably not. Again, I don't know all the answers, but I think we're going to be pleasantly surprised. It sounds like it's going to be a pretty good movie. I like Jeremy from The Quartering. He just really likes to make his stance about not how they're milking the tiny Stay Puft marshmallows. Well, it's probably the one cute thing out of the movie, so they're going to show that on the trailer every time. So there's that. But I can't wait. Can you wait? November 19th just can't get here quick enough, and the sun is just keep getting in my face. So I'll just wrap it up here. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. And as always, have a great day. A whole more to come.